Welcome, everybody. I am so excited to be hosting this Alliance for Women Film Composer Grammy listening party. My name is Chandler Poling. I'm one of the co-founders of the Alliance for Women Film Composers, and just a fan of all the work that gets done here. Um, I am going to be pretty quick in my introduction because I want to get to the listening, and we have a room full of nominees, and they've got incredible stories to tell, and we've got some great music to listen to. First up. I'm going to bring Diane Warren into frame. Diane Warren, little introduction needed. She just needs to unmute. There she is. Hi, Diane.
Chandler, and hi everybody, and how does Chandler have the coolest hair of anyone in
I
this
was just saying,
room,
I feel it's a little
in,
bit of
in
a
this
mess,
world at the moment?
but thank you, Diane. It's so awesome to have you here. Thank you so much for being here. You're, of course,
Sorry I'm
have a
late.
Grammy, no worries, a Grammy nomination in the music film category for your documentary about yourself. Can you just tell us a little bit about the film?
It's about an asshole. No, I'm just kidding. It's it's about I don't know. It's a documentary on me. Yeah, that's I don't know how to describe it except I guess well, it's all about me. I don't know. Yeah, so.
Well, that's
You
well,
get to
what
you get to see how
for
weird I am. You get to see that I'm. If you didn't know I was a weirdo and a freak, you by the end of it, you definitely know that I am. So,
fantastic. If anybody really wants to see this film right now, is it on demand somewhere? Can someone find it?
yeah, it's everywhere. It's on. I guess it's on Amazon, YouTube, Apple. You know.
And and we have a viewing link, a special viewing link for Alliance for Women Film Composers people in the email that was sent out today.
Yeah. So if you want to waste an hour and a half, you have nothing better to do.
It's brilliant and inspiring, as are you.
Thank you, Lili.
Yeah. So as far as the listening part of it, I know that we have some audio from the film or from music that's attached to the film.
We have
The song in it.
a trailer for the film.
Fantastic. Well, great. Well, why don't we see the trailer so we can kind of see what we're getting into?
Yikes.
I've met a lot of people, but honey, ain't never met nobody like Diane Warren.
Diane.
Who is this?
Who is this?
There's no one like her.
She's relentless.
Relentless.
Unrelenting. I have a bracelet that says relentless as
Boring.
what the is that?
She's just crazy. Oh my God. But she writes great songs.
She is more hits by so many different artists ever.
Whitney Houston, Gaga, Celine.
I don't think anyone tops her record.
I don't want to miss a thing that's on here.
That song was Stephen Tyler's first #1 hit.
I don't analyze what I do. I just go to work and I work.
She writes this stuff by herself in that miserable, miserable room of hers.
I love it in here. I put blinders on like this. My work, my work, my work.
All these hits, one writer, one genius named Diane Warren.
Took guitar lessons, and the teacher told my dad she has no future in music. My mom was always like, you'll be sitting on the corner with a guitar and a cup. You can't make a living at it. I just wasn't happy.
Lots of people don't quite understand people on the spectrum. It's part of the genius.
Oh, where's the process? I don't know. Ask me about my process one more time. I'm gonna not you. You're gonna ask me about my process.
As a child, she knew nothing except rejection.
But you know what? One of my favorite things to do is you. I'll prove you wrong.
You might think you can do.
I don't want to change anything because it got me here.
Diane has broke the rules.
If you didn't know who she was, you would never guess that this person could write like that.
She relived her pain and shared it with the world.
What I really hate is when someone goes, you're the best female songwriter, and I'm going like,
She's one of the greatest songwriters of all time and still going.
it's about your work. I'm still hungry and wanting to write my next song and have people hear them. This isn't a job, this is my life. You can't retire from your life.
Dear me.
Wow, that got me kind of
All
emotional.
right. I love it. Awesome.
Thanks. So weird for me to watch it.
I bet to have a movie made about you. Why relentless? Is that just a word that has followed you
Well,
around?
because annoying wasn't available. Um, I don't know. 'Cause I am kind of relentless. And hopefully not too annoying of a way. But I don't give up if I believe in something. And like I've always believed in myself, and I've always been relentless about, there's always like everybody on here, on this in this room, has faced obstacles, and somehow you get through them. And I faced my share, and you guys have faced your share, and it's just believing in yourself, and just getting through all that, and just and in as relentless as possible way.
Fantastic. Well, I highly encourage everybody to check out this film. Of course, you know, written for incredible artists. We just saw them, in front of us, and congratulations on your Grammy
Thank
nomination.
you. Thank you. Who knew? I didn't. It was very unexpected.
Wonderful. All right, I'm going to move on to our next nominee. I'm going to call upon Carol Connors right now to talk to us about her nomination. This is your second Grammy nomination, of course. This is for an audiobook, Elvis, Rocky, and Me, the Carol Connors Story. Congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you so much. It's been 48 years since my last Grammy nomination. And it really, in fact, Diane, whom I adore, and I call her the GOAT, was my first phone call after David Longoria told me that I was nominated. And I didn't know what to do, so I started crying. But it was tears of joy, more than anything else. I mean, if everything you've ever wanted, thought of, needed, dreamed of, hoped for was coming true before your eyes again, because of Rocky and all the things that were in the past, you don't have the right to be unhappy. You have to embrace it and say, oh my gosh, God, I'm not a religious fanatic, but God is allowing me to do this again. It's very meaningful and touches my heart.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story with us. Now, talk to me about a little bit about this audiobook. What can people expect out of it?
Well, I have led a very checkered life. As I put it, if one of my girlfriends wanted me to run for mayor, Elizabeth Ahn of Crustaceans in Beverly Hills, for mayor of Beverly Hills once, and I said, Elizabeth, if I were to open my closet, the skeletons would be jumping over each other to get out. So my life has been quite a journey. It started with Phil Spector, one of the geniuses of rock and roll music, because I'm the lead singer. I'm the teddy bear. To know him. He wrote it for my voice, and it was off his father's epitaph. His father committed suicide, and he fell in love with my voice. And we were in school. I was in junior high school. And he said, I'm going to write a song for your voice. And he did. Then he said, do you have $10? And I said, Phil, I'm not even 17. I don't even have 10 cents. But I went to my parents and they gave me the money after I badgered them to death. And then from there, Elvis Presley became my first boyfriend because he fell in love with my voice. Not me. He didn't know if I was Dracula's daughter or Frankenstein's cousin. He just loved my voice. And he would say to the Memphis Mafia, those were all the boys that hung around him, his cousins and everything, I love the translation. I love that girl's voice. I'd love to meet her. And one day this creepy guy came up to me in a market and he said, aren't you the girl that sang To Know Him Is to Love Him? And I went, I'm holding a carton of milk. And I said, yeah. He said, well, Elvis Presley would love to meet you. And I dropped the milk and I said, are you putting me on? And sure enough, I met him. And the first words he said to me, he was like a beautiful cat. And I love cats. And I was watching him from across the room. And he came up to me finally. I felt like a little mouse. And he said to me, so why'd you name the group? Translation, so why'd you name the group the Teddy Bears? And I didn't know what to say. And I said, just want to be your teddy bear. And that started our love affair. And things have just been very bizarre. I'm the only girl who ever wrote a hot rod song in the history of rock and roll. Hey Little Cobra, and it was one of the biggest hits by the Ripcords. And Carol Shelby gave me a Cobra and took me to Le Mans. Ooh la la. He lived up to what he said. And my car today, which I don't own, is worth $2.5 million. And then from there, I got Rocky and the Rescuers. And hey, yo, what can I say? Yo, I love to imitate people, Chandler. I can't help myself.
Clearly.
I know I do it. I think I sort of can imitate Diane imitating me. Hold it down. It has to do with my camera.
Wonderful. Well, I want to make sure that we get a chance to listen to the clip that you've brought from your audiobook. I can't wait to actually hear a section of it.
Well, it's also David Longoria and I produced it, but the most beloved Kathy Garver, she actually did the narration of it because I had a speech impediment as a child, and we would still be reading it today, and I would not be having a Grammy nomination. So I hope you enjoy it, and what can I say? It's very exciting right now.
Wonderful. Thank you. Let's hear it.
Chapter 1. Love Me Tender. I was supermarket shopping when a stranger approached. His name was Corey, and he looked a bit seedy, short in stature and unattractive. He asked me a question. "Aren't you the girl that sang to know him is to love him?" I said, "Yes." And he quickly responded, "Elvis loves that song, and he would like to meet you." His comment was ridiculous, laughable, and I immediately said something like, "Yeah, sure, right. You gotta be kidding me." However, there was something in the approach that he would know I sang to know him is to love him that kept me intrigued, enough so that I vacillated between the questions. Was this a real conversation, or was that man standing in front of me a serial killer? Finally, the conversational inflection point arrived. If I gave him my telephone number, he would get back to me about meeting Elvis. My father was a jockey, which was a dangerous, on-the-edge sport. I inherited my father's genes. I liked to be on the edge, to be an adventurist. So I looked the dispirited man in the eye and then told him my telephone number. Was the stranger scoping me out for Elvis? I mean, I didn't look like Dracula's daughter. Sure, Elvis could have liked to know him is to love him, which it turned out he really did. He actually had said to people, "I really love the sound of that girl's voice," but I didn't know that at the time. I didn't question the stranger, asking something important or relevant, such as, "How do I know you know Elvis?" I couldn't figure out if he was telling the truth or not. What were the chances in this whole wide world that the most popular singer on the planet would want to meet me? Was it 1 in a million? But those chances, even at 1 in a million, were better than 5 minutes before, so I said to myself, fuck it, I'll give him my phone number. About 2 weeks later, I got a call from the Supermarket Inquirer who said, "Elvis would like to meet you. I'll come by and pick you up." Again, that guy could have been a crazed killer man, and the last thing I should have done was said, "Okay, here's my address." But that's exactly what I did, adding, "What time are you picking me up?" The year was 1964. It's important to take a look at the principals in this story and where they were on their life's journey.
Excellent. Wow. So fun to hear that story be told. And I can't wait for people
By
to
the
hear
way,
the rest of these stories.
It is now, it's going to be a documentary, and I was just accepted into the Palm Springs Film Festival. I'm so excited. And and guess what the title of the documentary is? Elvis, Rocky, and me, the Carol Connors story. So it'll be out next year.
Wonderful and wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Carol, for being here and sharing your story with us. We really appreciate it.
I really loved it. Thanks. Translation. I really loved it. Thank you.
Yes. Fantastic. Awesome. All right, well, let's move on. I'm going to call up Lili Haydn next. Lili, congratulations on your nomination. And
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, you shared this with your co-writer Paul on your Lullabies for the Brokenhearted. Can you tell us a little bit about this album?
Yeah, well, so Paul and I put our compositions together. So half are written by him, half are written by me. And I think let me just say that everybody in the category is incredible, and I am personally a fan of everyone. And but I think that I feel particularly gratified because we're the only composers playing our own compositions in this category. And if we win, it will only be the second time in history of the chamber music category that a composer playing their own music will have won. I've been pretty. I've shared the origin of the project with a lot of people, but just a little recap, which is that when my mom was on her deathbed, I heard a melody in its perfect formation, and I played it for her as she passed. And I always felt like that those were the intervals that she gave me from the place between places to call her or call in spirit. So I've gone on to play that for 7 people as they've passed. And this was just something that I did without mentioning it because I don't, who wants to talk about death? But it felt like I was ready to give up making records because the music business has been so inhospitable and the world is so messed up. And I felt like, how can you hustle an album when people are getting kidnapped off the streets? But I felt like the one good deed I know that I do is I play music for people, and I am in a way like I try to be a channel for connection. I mean, that's what we're all doing as musicians, but with the very intentionally, I'm trying to connect beyond the veil, whatever that means.
Mm-hmm.
And then last year, my dearest friend and longtime collaborator Paul Cantillon, brilliant composer and pianist, his wife passed away, and he was dying of a broken heart. And that same voice said, you and he need to make this record together. So he came over to our house. We put our compositions together. We wrote one tune together, and we called it Lullabies for the Brokenhearted. And we've been playing it for people. We played several memorials, but it's not about death for me. It's really about connecting to what is next, whatever that might be, and to opening the possibility that there is more to reality than what we can see with our eyes right now. So with that, I would love to, I know we're trying to keep it short, so.
Yeah, well, all right, let's listen to your clip of music so we can kind of hear one of these lullabies. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Lily.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. And before I move on, please, if you wouldn't remind everybody your category that you're nominated in.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Chamber music, small ensemble. And for whatever it's worth, I did write that one, and I attributed it to it's in honor of Angela, Paul's wife. Paul and Angela, the entwined.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. All right, let's move on to our next nominee. I'm going to call up Christina. Christina Sandsengen. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Where are you zooming in from in the world?
From Oslo, Norway.
Welcome. Well, it's great to have you.
Thank you.
An international audience. Congratulations on your Grammy nomination in Classical Compendium for your album Tombeau. Can you tell us a little bit about this album?
Yeah, so Tombeau is a cycle of several tombeaux, each dedicated as an homage to all the family I have lost. I've lost all my family very early in accidents and overdoses. So this album for me is to honor them, the beautiful soul that they were, and just how grateful I am for having had them in my life and for all the love that they showed me when they were alive. So this is to honor them and also put music, sorrow into music. I like to express deep, authentic feelings, such as the feelings around death and sorrow, because they are human and unfortunately a big natural part of our lives, but it's just so heavy. So I just wanted to be honest with that in this recording.
Wonderful. And like Lily, I understand that you also perform as well as write the music for your album.
Yes, that's right. So I wrote the pieces. If I felt a melody or a chord progression, something, when I remember, for example, the piece to my mom, I just missed her a lot one day, every day, but especially one day. And then this chord progression came to my mind, and I just started playing that, and it developed from there.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so you brought a few pieces, I believe, that we're going to listen to. Specifically, there's Preludium and Elegy for Dad. Can you just give us a little background on these two pieces?
Yeah, so they kind of belong together. So the Preludium is leading up to the piece for my dad. My dad has been the most important person in my life. He was my best friend, and also he was the one that turned his life around, because he was also a drug addict before. So, but he turned his life around for me so that I could have a good life. So he quit cold turkey with the drugs just because of his love for me. So in this piece, I say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart to him. And he was also just the kindest person, and he just showed me a lot of love, unconditional love and support with my music every single day.
Wonderful. All right, well, let's listen to those two tracks, please. We're
Sorry,
just
just
pulling up.
switching over quickly.
Yeah, we're just pulling up the next track. 1 second. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing those pieces and telling us about your album. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I forgot to say it's recorded in a Norwegian mausoleum. So the reverb you hear is natural.
Wonderful. Great.
Thank you.
And please remind everybody the category that you're nominated in.
It's a classical compendium. Together. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Together with Sean Drew, my producer, who is amazing.
Wonderful. Yeah, I should mention that for the categories for Diane, because we forgot to talk about that, that's Best Music Film. And Carol, I believe it's called Best Audio Recording for a book. I can't remember now the name of the title, if Carol is still on, but let's move on to our next contender. In my screen here, I see Patti Drennan next. Patti, hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you so
Good.
much for being here. Congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you. We're very pleased about it. First off, we're in classical, and Requiem of Light is an a cappella requiem up for best choral performance. It's a piece that I wrote earlier this year, in about 7 weeks. It's an a cappella requiem with 9 movements, and it was recorded by the Clarion Choir with Stephen Fox as the conductor. Sangeeta Kaur and Brian Giebler were the 2 soloists. My daughter Emily is one of the chorus masters and helped produce it. She's on, and it's also a member of the group, as is Christina Giacona. So she was one of the mixing engineers, and she's a part of this group. But it's really a requiem for the dead, but rather than make it like 30 minutes worth of slow maudlin sad music, I wanted to incorporate the feeling of something unexpected. So I love writing different genres. I love jazz. I love a cappella. I like syncopation, mixed meters, you name it. So you'll find a variety of that. There'll be many different styles in there that will surprise you. But the idea is we mourn the dead, but we also look for things as an outcome of in life. So we might have loss of a loved one, loss of a dream or a job prospective opportunity that didn't come our way. How do we traverse those depths and come out and find the light at the end? So that's kind of what this is all about. But I'm very proud of it. I am told we're one of very few women that are nominated. So that's exciting. And it's no news. It's no secret that a mother-daughter team just happens to be here, and we've been doing things musically since she was like 4 years old. So I'm very proud of being able to get to work with her. That's Emily Drennan Lopez. So
wonderful, fantastic.
And that's our son-in-law was also a co-producer on this as well as Kit Wakely. So.
Oh, Kit, we all know Kit.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, I feel like I don't even have to ask any questions because you told me so much about this album that I just want to listen to it. So why don't we pull up the clip that we have, and I really look forward to hearing some of this.
Thank you.
Oops, sorry, let me try that again.
My name is Patti Drennan. I am the composer of the music for the choral requiem, Requiem of Light. I wanted to write a larger work that's more cohesive. I usually would just write an anthem or a single piece, but I wanted something that had a little bit more structured integrity, something that was written from the past, incorporating some historical text, and I figured a requiem would be the best idea to do that.
Hi, my name is Emily Drennan. I am chorus master and producer of Requiem of Light. From a producer standpoint, it's certainly difficult to do an entire a cappella requiem. In a traditional requiem, you have the orchestra where the singer has moments of rest. But this is really unique because there's not a single moment where there's not one person singing.
Hi, I'm Sangeeta Kaur, and I am here recording Patti Drennan's album, Requiem of Light. Most of the time when we think about a requiem, it's a music that celebrates death and passing. Requiem of Light, bringing the word light into it, is really emphasizes the celebration. The human voice is an instrument that we're born with. It is our entire body, every cell of our body. It's quite miraculous to create these sounds and these melodies and these harmonies. So really this album is like a celebration of life and death, but at the same time, the celebration of the human spirit. And she bringing the theme of hope through this, it's like, we are humans here standing together, creating this God-like sound that came from God. It is magical.
Hello, I am Brian Giebler. I am fortunate enough to be the tenor soloist on Requiem of Light. There's this relationship between composers and the artists where they put the material on page and then we have to take it and make it our own. So of course, I'm sure Patti has her own idea of how she wants this and has heard it in her head as she's creating it on the page. And then I get to connect with her and figure out a way to make both what's on the page connect with my experience and bring it to life.
I think when we added the soloist, that's when the beautiful soaring lines that Sangeeta, the high B flat, brought tears to my eyes.
Sangeeta and Brian are not only amazing individuals and just wonderful people, but extremely talented. The timbre of their voices intermingle, how they sound individually, just the light and airiness that they bring to the project. Immediately when we heard them, we knew that's it, that's who we want to have.
Hi, my name is Stephen Fox. I'm the conductor of this recording, Requiem of Light. Like the title says, it is a Requiem of Light. It's not as dark as some other Requiems. This take, it's different. It's a different take on the Requiem. It has a lot of rhythmic vitality. And the light, Lux Perpetua, the eternal light. It seems like Patti has really honed into that aspect of the text rather than the darkness.
It's the goal of this entire piece is to try to wrap the listener in the music, to have them be in the best seat, to hear every single nuance that Mom's created and that the choir has so gloriously presented.
Singers can bring to life the music in a way that no other instrument can because they have the text and the inflection of the text.
We all have our own experience with death, we all have our own experience with loss, and then to be able to actually celebrate that in a community and a team and bring that all together in this way brings the humanity to it.
Our hope is that people who are experiencing loss, because Requiem is a requiem for the dead, but it is not just a loss of a life, it's a loss of hope, a loss of dreams, a loss of a pathway, a loss of many different things. And I think anyone can relate to that. Anyone can relate to loss or to a yearning. And so we want anyone who feels alone or who feels in a difficult situation to feel hope and to know that there is hope.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Patti.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So everybody can check out Requiem for Light. And the category again, please.
It's in the classical, and we're up for Best Choral Performance. Requiem of Light. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Fantastic. All right. Moving on to our next nominee in my whatever row of windows. I see Pinar Toprak. Pinar, why don't you join the chat?
Hello, everyone. I'm very humbled by all the wonderful music. And Christina, by the way, was a classical guitarist in a different life. So I appreciate that. And I lost my father, and there's a lot of lost conversation. So I feel all of that. Thank you. It's really, really beautiful, beautiful work. Mine is it's a bit more sci-fi, I guess, this time. It's Avatar, and it's very special to me. When the first film came out, my kids were 1 and 3, and I was scoring little independent films, and I was dreaming of a world in which I could score big scores like this. And my kids are now 20 and 17. I'm going to be an empty nester next year. And this game came to my life about 4 years ago, I guess. And it's just, I mean, I couldn't describe the words what it meant to me to be a part of this world. But beyond that, it's I had a chance, an opportunity, or a gift to be in this world, but create entirely new soundtrack. So nothing is from the film. Of course, there's little hats off homage to James Horner and the soundscape that he's created. But the beautiful thing about the video game is that we didn't have the same sandbox to play with. We could go really much more beyond it. So in terms of instrumentation and even just the way we approached everything, it didn't have to be exactly in the Avatar world. So I'm really, really excited that even though we do pay homage, there's so much different music. There's hours of music. It's about nearly, I mean, more than 3 years of my life recorded with over 200 musicians from all around the world and different soloists. A lot of heart and soul was poured into it. So it's just wonderful to be acknowledged in some way and to get to make a living where we create music and to be in a group like this and listen to just wonderful, wonderful music from all these incredible composers. So thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Well, we're happy to have you here. Should clarify the category that you're in. It's best score soundtrack for video games and
Thank you
other
for that.
interactive
It's long.
media.
I can remember.
It's a mouthful, that one. Yeah, so this is in the visual media category, and let's listen to what you brought.
Yeah, this is the trailer.
So, they sent someone to look for us after all.
You knew I was coming?
We Kamitiri see all who enter here. This land was once teeming with beauty and life. Until the Sky People brought destruction. We set traps and will attack the invaders soon.
I know their weaknesses. I learned their weapons long ago. Let me join your fight.
Awesome. As a gamer myself, that looks really exciting. I need to play these games.
Thank you. Very much. Thank you.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing the story about how you got to bring your kids to see Avatar in theaters and then cut to work on the property itself. That's got to feel like a big achievement.
It does. Thank you.
I do need to keep us moving along, so unfortunately we've got to move up. But thank you, Pinar. I'm going to call up Starr Parodi next. Starr, please.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Starr. Congratulations on your your Grammy nomination. Of course, you are a previous winner in this category for Classical Compendium. Can you tell us a little bit about your current album?
Sure. Well, first of all, huge respect to everybody here. It's just, everybody's projects are so beautiful. It's such a wonderful room. And so anyway, I'm so excited that we're doing this and sharing each other's projects. And so this project started, I'm just going to put it on speaker. I think I'm not seeing myself. Okay. This project started a year and a half ago at a dinner. Kit Wakely and Jeff and I had collaborated on an adoption story a couple of years ago. And he wanted to do something else that would be really meaningful. And we talked about some ideas, and we came upon the idea of a metaphoric, almost biblical 7 days of a tragedy, and what are the stages that you go through? And this is all, by the way, before the LA fires. So we were just having a really nice Italian dinner with wine and, talking about tragedy somewhere else. But, we've all been touched by so many instances of this. And so anyway, we came up with doing a suite, the day of innocence, the day of tragedy, the day of confusion, the day of disbelief, the day of why, the day of reflection, and the day of hope. And came up with the idea that these are the many stages that you go through when something happens, and it could be something personal or it could be something, huge. But Kit Wakely, who is just a wonderful composer, he wrote music that was based on 41 interviews that he did with people, to really try to understand all these emotions. And so little did I know that the LA fires would happen. In fact, we were set up to do a session at our studio as I walked outside and saw the smoke coming. And thankfully, we grabbed the hard drives and saved this project because it almost went up in flames. But to speaking to that, I had a very special piano that was used. I think a lot of you guys know about it, but it was used, recorded for The Wizard of Oz and all the MGM musicals in the 30s. And then it's had this just incredible arc of its own life. And I had it for 30 years. And so I was able to play piano on all the tracks before the fire, which sadly it was lost in. But one of the tracks, Hope, is the very end of it is just a piano improv. And then it's really interesting. We decided that Sekou Andrews, who's this wonderful spoken word artist, he wrote a poem that kind of encapsulated all these feelings. And I found some outtakes of my piano because we needed to make it longer. And we made a song called The Message at the very end. And he speaks this beautiful poem that just touched me so much, So we recorded this with the London Royal Philharmonic. We have some amazing soloists on it. Janai Brugger, who is the one of the principals at the New York Metropolitan Opera, and who I've known since she graduated from college. She's on it singing. And it's just really an emotional album for me because of our collaboration, because of the subject matter, and because after the fire, I feel like I've gone through almost every stage, and I'm like in between why, reflection, and hope with a little disbelief right now. So it's really a project close to my heart, and I wanted to share a piece called The Day of Why with you, because why is really an unanswered question, that we all kind of have. And we chose some words in Latin, quare, to be sung by Janai, and also omnia causa funt, which means nothing or everything happens for a reason. So I've made a little cut down of this. It's like a round, because why, this question really is a round in our minds, like why? And there's really no answer. So we just have to accept what is, and accept it with joy and gratitude, and, move forward. So anyway, you're going to hear a shortened version of The Day of Why. And the soloist is Janai. I'm playing piano. It's with the London Royal Philharmonic.
And can I just say, this is the last recording of your 1928 Steinway.
Yeah. So that's another reason that it's so powerful to me to hear it. So I hope you guys feel it. And I love also that this album ends embracing hope. And even though this piece is very meditative and is very much of a round, there is a lot of action and movement in this record too. That's really kind of cool, and it really goes back and forth with these different emotions.
Great. Let's hear what you brought. beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you. So that's in Classical Compendium, and the album is called Seven Seasons.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, let's bring up our next nominee, Anna Williams. Anna, hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, can hear you.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Well, thank you so much. I just want to say I'm such a fan of everything that this organization does. So honored to be part of it. I do apologize if there's noise in the background. I hope it won't be too bad. We're with our 2-year-old and had to stop in a coffee shop on route between concerts. So I'm sure everyone here can relate, and I apologize if it's noisy. But our album is La Mer, the Sea. It's a collection of French piano trios. We are in classical chamber music, small ensemble performance. Neave Trio is the ensemble. And in this album, we're really sort of celebrating and exploring the vitality and the beauty and the colors and of the all-important, force that is the sea, that is the ocean. In all of its forms, it starts with, the title track is, of course, La Mer, which is famously a orchestral suite by Debussy, but in this case is actually arranged by a living composer, the wonderful, innovative, talk about vital, Sally Beamish. She's absolutely amazing. And she took the orchestral score and somehow distilled it into something for a piano trio, which is so incredible that she was able to create this world of sound that captures the Debussy while also being its own experience. We also have on here 2 pieces by Melanie Bonis, who was this prolific French composer who went by Mel instead of Melanie to hide the fact that she was herself a composer. And there are these beautiful miniatures talking about musically the evening and the morning, and this idea of the sort of visuals that you can see, not unlike the Debussy La Mer. You can sort of see the shimmer of the night sky reflecting on the water. It's just very, very beautiful and very image focused. And then we have the epic Saint-Saëns trio, which, while not programmatic in the same way that the other 2 pieces are, it has such a sense of sort of motion and gesture. And even in the very first chords that the piano plays, there's sort of this opening of like a rolling tide that you feel. So overall, we hope that it has this sort of immersive experience that, like I said, sort of celebrates the gesture and the drama and the vitality that is the sea.
Wonderful, wonderful, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for that intro. Let's go ahead and listen to what you brought.
I'm Anna Williams. I'm Irina Nakamura.
And I'm Mikhail Veselov.
And we are delighted to be back in Potton Hall recording our 7th album for Shandos. This album centers on 3 drastically different and yet unified voices, all of whom happen to be French composers, but worlds apart in terms of their imagery.
2 out of 3 pieces are programmatic. It's Melbourne's Morning and Evening and Debussy La Mer. Saint-Saëns, although not programmatic, it still evokes very vivid colors and textures.
One element that we found deeply inspiring in preparing this program was the aspect of the visual and how each piece, though so different, somehow had a really visual component that we found super inspiring in the rehearsal room. The Melbourne's is very programmatic, talking about morning and evening. And then we have La Mer, which of course is the beloved orchestral suite by Debussy, in this case, arranged by the wonderful living composer Sally Beamish. And while it's so inspiring, both the obvious visuals that are so brought to life in the writing, it's also its own work, given that it's for a trio and not the orchestra. So we're trying to be all those different instruments, and yet we're also trying to be ourselves at the same time. It's a wonderful work, and it is so fun to play.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love the enthusiasm of that video.
Thanks so much. That was in our recording studio in the British countryside, and yeah, we're just so delighted to have this out in the world, and just really really thrilled to be a part of this this category of chamber music, small ensemble performance. And thank you all so much for listening. We really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for stopping on your trip in a coffee shop in between A and B, wherever you're going, and being a part of this listening event. So that's
thank you for allowing me.
oh my gosh, no, you do us a good favor of being here. I appreciate it. We only got a few more left, and I know that we're running pretty long. So why don't I call up Carla Patullo next? Carla.
Hi. Hey, everyone.
Hi. Hello.
It's so nice to see everyone in here, everybody's beautiful work. Yeah, my recent album is called Nomatica. It's actually a part two to my last album, So She Howls. This album's about my mom, who I lost in a car accident 20 years ago suddenly. And it's about reconnecting with her, having the conversations that we never got to have. And but I didn't realize some of these conversations and the possibility of how music could really get me there until since my last album, So She Howls. In particular, I wrote that album going through breast cancer, as many of you guys know. And in that period, I would go to treatment and this music would come on. They would play all this music in the radiation room. And it would connect me. I would feel this deep connection with my mom, like songs that we grew up with listening to. And I just realized how powerful that was. And so by going through that process and all the gratitude that I felt through that, I was able to have these conversations now 20 years later and deal with the grief from that. So that's where Nomatica takes off.
And tell us, what category is it up for?
Yeah, it's in Best New Age Ambient or Chant. And the clip that I have is a song I co-wrote with Martha Wainwright. And we bonded about who lost her mom 2 years ago. And so we just felt like it was a natural collaboration for us. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, why don't we go ahead and pull up that piece so we can hear a little bit of Nomatica.
I feel you
That's great. It's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. It seems to be a funny theme. The connection of all the death is very interesting in this group. You know how there's a lot of connection on that feeling. But anyways, everyone, you're so fantastic for being here and supporting each other. And I want to make sure everybody sticks around and supports our last and final nominee contender. We've got Allison, Charney. Come on, Allison. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. I'm well. Congratulations on your nomination for Alike, My Mother's Dream.
Thank you so much. I am not my co-nominee is my conductor and pianist Benjamin Loeb, and for both of us, it is a first nomination, and we started making music together a mere 37 years ago. So we're just a little bit excited and think
Wow.
sometimes things just take a little time.
Exactly.
Yeah. But we've had plenty of time together making music, and this is just a real honor and a real honor to be a part of this group. I am posing a little bit. I am a supporting member of this group. I am not, in fact, a woman composer. Um, but I love everything this group does, and I'm delighted that two of the composers featured on my album are members of this group. And so I'm going to just speak really briefly in general about the album, and then I have three short little clips, and I'll give you a little introduction on each of them so that I can honor the women who are members of this group. So this is Alike My Mother's Dream, and it's my tribute to my mother, who has taught us, all of us, that it is we need to strive in life to find what makes us alike as human beings rather than what divides us. I tell this story in 7 tracks of classical music. 4 are composed by people who are alive, and 3 are rediscovered pieces from the late Romantic era. Um, there are 3 orchestral anchor pieces that hold everything together. And then there are the 4 country pairs, one composed by a Russian, one by a Ukrainian, one by an Iranian, and one by an Israeli. My point being that their music belongs right next to each other on my album, just as I think they belong right next to each other, living peacefully on planet Earth. So that's it in a nutshell. And I think the first piece is the Kaddish. That is by Mariana Rosette, who is a member of this group. And she was born to survivors of the concentration camps in World War II in the immediate aftermath of the war. She grew up knowing that there was some unspeakable sadness that her parents were shielding her from, but it was never, ever discussed. And she recognized a familiar looking face in a picture that her father had up of a young child. And it took her a while, and she finally pieced together the pieces of this puzzle of her parents' unimaginably tortured background, and realized that this was, in fact, a half sibling of hers whom her parents had seen murdered in the Holocaust. So this piece is called Kaddish, which is the traditional Jewish morning prayer, and it was composed in the memory of her ghost brothers.
Rocking horse without a rider, mother with no one beside her, wash their hair, clean their faces, let them go to peaceful places. Say shalom b'rumav, oh yaseh shalom, Alinu v'yalko Yisrael. Laughing, dancing in the lanes, by the lake, in the fields, oh say shalom b'rumav. They sing and dance for me, music of tranquility. Iskadar, Iskadash, they are always here beside me.
That's from Kaddish
Yeah.
by Mariana Rosette. I think, Connor, the next one is the Amy Beach, right? I think that's number 2. So this is a piece by Amy Beach, who was not a member of your group because she died in 1944. She is the first woman to have her symphony performed, the first American woman to have her symphony performed by a major orchestra in 1896. The Boston Symphony played her symphony. She started her life as a pianist, a brilliant pianist. I know, as all of us as musicians, people often ask us if their child is, they have a young child and they think they're so, so talented, and they want our opinion as to how much of a genius their child is. And I always think that Amy Beach had memorized 100 pieces on the piano when she was 1. And so when I compare most children against Amy Beach, it's hard to comment. Um, Amy Beach, when she married Mr. Beach, it seems that it was not appropriate for a married lady to play piano in public. And so she had to give up her unbelievably successful career. She had debuted with the Boston Symphony when she was 18 years old as a soloist. And she found that she could not give up music. And so she struck a deal with her husband and said, what if I compose instead? That'll be behind the scenes and then nobody has to see me. How about that? And he agreed. And she became one of the more important composers ever. And this piece is called Jephthah's Daughter. She brought her handwritten manuscript of this piece to France to the soprano whom she wanted to learn it. The soprano said she would. She loved it. Amy Beach went back to the United States. World War I broke out, and the manuscript was placed in a trunk for safekeeping. The German army seized the trunk, and the manuscript was lost for over 100 years. It was just recently rediscovered. I got my hands on the handwritten manuscript and had it transcribed for full orchestra, and we're really proud that this is the first ever recording of Amy Beach's English version of Jephthah's Daughter. It is the reason it's on this album is because it's just another reminder of how much is lost, how much great music and art and beauty and potential when we don't get along with one another and we focus on what makes us different rather than what makes us alike. This is a very dramatic piece. We're just going to play a little section of it. It's 10 minutes long for soprano and orchestra. It's a biblical story. It's a horrible story about the great hero Jephthah, who has won a battle, and he says to God, to thank you for my victory, I'm going to sacrifice the next thing that walks out of my home, and it's his daughter. And his daughter accepts this horrible fate, and in this moment, she is pleading with God to take pity on her father because she knows that he is going to have to live his life with this unbearable grief.
Behold the grief of my father, and hear his lonely cry. All the days lost to me, give him whose life is ready. For here is my company. Behold the grief of my father, and heed his lonely
This last section is from a piece called Invocation, which is by Kim Sherman, who is a member of your group. Kim walked around her very diverse neighborhood of Washington Heights in New York City and asked the shopkeepers and the people who work in her neighborhood how they would say the sentence, make peace on all your lands, in their language of origin. She came up in her diverse neighborhood with 15 different translations of that one sentence, make peace on all your lands. And she set them for me to sing with orchestra. And this piece about peace, I think fits perfectly on this album about just this very this very notion of how we should all come together and focus on what's really important. This is a little bit of Invocation by Kim D. Sherman. And this, so the album again, it's Like My Mother's Dream, and it is in classical best solo vocal album. And I have to say, every time I listen to it, I fear that I won't hit the high notes.
But you did.
It's very stressful every time. I haven't quite gotten used to the idea that it's a recording.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that and all the background on all those tracks. That's really fascinating information. And congratulations on your nomination. And, it shows that, just stick at it. If you love music, make music. And then you never know, 37 years, you might get a Grammy nomination. So that's wonderful. Well, I'm going to wrap it up. So everybody, thank you so much for being a part of today's listening session and considering all these incredible Grammy nominees. Thank you to the nominees themselves who came and told us all about your categories. And thank you, Connor, for running this ship. I barely did a thing.
Thank you, Connor and Alexa and everyone at the AWFC for making this happen. Thank you.
Wonderful. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your days, everybody. Voting starts tomorrow.
Good luck, everyone.
Bye.